Let me read to you a passage from the 18th chapter of St. Matthew's Gospel, verses 12 to 14. It's the Gospel for Tuesday of the second week in Advent. St. Matthew writes, Jesus said to his disciples, "What do you think? If a man owns 100 sheep, and one of them wanders away, will he not leave the 99 on the hills and go to look for the one that wandered off? And if he finds it, I tell you the truth, he is happier about that one sheep than about the 99 that did not wander off. In the same way, your Father in heaven is not willing that any of these little ones should be lost." That's from Matthew chapter 18, verses 12 to 14. What does it suggest to us? Well, I remember one occasion a few decades ago. I was teaching a religion class in a government secondary school. I asked the class how they would define or describe God. One boy, he was about 13, said that God was a good spirit. Well, for a boy who grew up in a secular society, one whose parents probably did not actively practice their Christian faith, and one who had few opportunities for religious knowledge, the answer he gave wasn't too bad. He imagined God as a spirit and as good. How countless and varied have been the ways in which man has pictured the deity over the course of the ages. Almost invariably, the deity has been imagined as limited and as multiple. That is to say, there are many spirits or unseen powers that shape the world in its course, and God, the main one, is but one of them. He is generally regarded as good, though in limited fashion. Other unseen forces jostle independently on the scene too, and have their effect on the course of the world and on the life of man. God is a good spirit, good to a point, and there are others too, but there are bad ones as well. However, all these forces and factors are to be imagined in their detail. So it is that the mythologies of man's religions are vast and varied. Further, man's image of the deity is drawn from a variety of sources. How did that boy gain his image of the deity? Obviously, he would have gained it from some instruction and possibly from some spontaneous reflection on the world and its course. How does mankind gain its impression of the deity or the deities? It is gained from instruction in various forms, from reflection on the course of the world, and from other sources such as the guilty conscience. Now, if a person has had a bad experience of life, what is he going to think of the one who is reputed to be its source? I remember in another religion class, I was told by a 14-year-old girl that life is a bitch, to use her words. What would such a young person tend to think of God, the supposed creator and Lord of all? The point here is that it is not at all surprising that the image and notion of the divine that obtains is very far indeed from what God has revealed of himself. How precious then is divine revelation, and how fundamental is the first of the 10 Commandments, that we are to recognize the God of revelation as the one and only God. I am the Lord your God. You shall not have other gods before me. God, so truly and intensely Father to mankind, insists for man's own sake that he acknowledge this. And this we do especially by receiving with a total and loving obedience all that he has revealed of himself and his saving plan. This sacred revelation comes to us in the person of Jesus Christ and is entrusted to Christ's church. We receive it in faith and live it out in daily obedience. Divine revelation. How precious it is for man, and how it delivers him from the vagaries of his religious imagination and from his well-meaning myths. So it is that we are brought to our gospel today that I read earlier, in which our Lord, God incarnate, the human face of the living God, speaks of the unseen Lord of heaven and earth. Christ himself is the supreme and perfect image of the invisible God, the one who should fill the religious imagination of all the peoples. He who sees me, he told his disciples, sees the Father. He is the Father's revealing Word, the Word who was with God from all eternity, the Word who is God. In our Gospel today that I read earlier, he speaks of God in imagery which shows forth the Father's love. If a man owns 100 sheep, our Lord says, and one of them wanders away, will he not leave the 99 on the hills and go to look for the one that wandered off? And if he finds it, I tell you the truth, he is happier about that one sheep than about the 99 that did not wander off. In the same way, your Father in heaven is not willing that any of these little ones should be lost. Matthew 18, verses 12 to 14. God is revealed to be far, far more loving than anything of which man has any experience. He is far more than a mere good spirit, far more than the myths describe, far more than the greatest philosophers have proposed. He is our wondrously good shepherd, our Father. Divine revelation. How precious it is, and how absolutely fundamental it is that we cherish it and build our daily life upon it. This is the greatest of services that the Church renders to mankind, that it preserves and proclaims what God has revealed of himself and his saving plan for mankind. Let us resolve to base our lives squarely on the Word of the living God, which is to say, on the person of Jesus Christ and his revelation. This comes to us in the preaching, the teaching, the life, the sacraments, and the ministry of his church. Christ is the church's head, the church is his mystical body, and we who are baptized and blessed with the gift of faith in Jesus are members of that body. Let Christ's divine teaching shape and rule us, for the divine love, which is the foundation of all things, is expressed in that teaching, and it fills us by means of it.